There's a lot of reasons to abolish mandatory minimums. One is that they are literally a prohibition on mercy. Someone can come in and talk about all the things that they've done in their lives and all the things that affected them and all the things that led them to commit this offense. We're assuming that they're being sentenced at this point. All the things that led to it, like the things that happened that day, the things that happened in their lives, the trauma that they've seen, and the judge or the jury says, there's nothing I can do. I'm not allowed to give you a break. I'm not allowed to show mercy. And to say to someone whose job it is to hear the facts and decide what's fair, that you can't do what you think is fair, is just, it's so messed up. I can't even, half the time I can't even talk about it on these panels. I get so mad, I get so fired up about it. Mandatory minimums also induce pleas from people who aren't guilty. If you're told, you're facing 10, 15, 20 years, there are mandatory life offenses. And then a prosecutor says, but you can do 10. And you're saying, I didn't do this horrible thing I'm accused of, but if I lose, it's automatic life. And they're offering me 10 years. A lot of people plead to that stuff. A lot of people plead to misdemeanors because even though they didn't do it, because they're looking at a 6-month mandatory minimum on an assault on a police officer charge, for example, which police officers also often use to bully people that didn't do exactly what they wanted them to or didn't like their attitude and stuff like that, contempt of cop. So abolishing mandatory minimums, I could talk for mandatory minimums about it for an hour, but that's a huge priority for me and for Justice Ford, and I think for the criminal justice reform community broadly. Drug defelonization is a thing we started to push last year. One of the problems with making drugs a felony, drug possession a felony, is that it takes someone who needs help and instead puts them in the criminal justice system, puts years over their heads, and threatens them with prison, which, when you have someone who may have various vulnerabilities that so many people with substance use disorders have, that putting the strain and stress on them of felony convictions, putting that on their record so that they're, again, facing all the difficulties that come with being a convicted felon. It's just so many burdens on someone who apparently is already dealing with a number of burdens. We need to make those misdemeanors. We really need to get to the point where we can figure out how to get people out of the criminal justice system entirely when they have substance use disorders. But for now, our first step is going to be misdemeanors, trying to reduce the amount of jail time that they can face and trying to reduce the amount of stigma that they face for those convictions.